Hello and welcome back to my channel SimplyPretty Creations. I'm really excited for today's video as I'm going to show you 4 DIYs which are farmhouse style wood signs using the tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. And if you are from India like me, then you can get this on Amazon. I'll leave the link below in the description box. This video is a little longer than my usual ones since I have squeezed in 4 DIYs for you in one video. I'll leave the timestamps for each DIY in the description box. So let's get started. For this project, you'll be needing 38 blocks of the tumbling tower game, and that's if you're going to make all 4. Then you'll need some wood stain. I'm using walnut shade for this project. You'll also need a few shades of chalk paint. In this video, I'll be using these shades. These are chipboard wordings which I got from a local craft shop. You can also use decals instead of these. I'll be using a hot glue gun for sticking my wooden blocks together as it's much faster. You can also use wood glue if you wish. So out of 38 blocks, I'm going to stain 28 of them using the walnut stain. I'm just using a lint-free cloth and rubbing the stain onto the wood block. For the first DIY, you'll need 12 of these blocks, the stained ones, and some sandpaper. So what I'm going to do is take the sandpaper and sand the edges of the top side. So just sanding this edge, and this is an 80 grit sandpaper. This edge and this edge. So I'm just sanding roughly, and also this. Basically the 4 sides on top. Now I'm going to use the hot glue gun and glue these. So I'm going to take the first piece, take the next piece, For the second DIY, you're going to need 4 of these blocks. Stick them together using hot glue, like how I'm showing here. So this is how it looks after sticking the 4 blocks together. Now I'm going to paint the blocks using this light teal shade chalk paint. I have applied 2 coats of chalk paint, letting them dry in between coats. And I painted the sides as well. Once the paint was completely dry, I took a piece of sandpaper and started sanding the blocks. So this is how it looks finally, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. For the third DIY, I will be using this light grey shade of paint. You'll need 10 wood blocks for this, and also I haven't used any walnut stain on these blocks. I'm just taking very little amount of grey paint on the brush and dry brushing it on the blocks. I'm mixing some equal amounts of white and black chalk paint to get a dark grey shade. I didn't want to use the black as this would stand out too much against the light grey background. So now this is how it looks after sticking together all the 10 pieces. This is in a staggering arrangement. I made sure that the alternate ones touch the side of the tray so that I can easily make it stand on its own. I'm going to use the words love, live and laugh on this, and this is how I'm going to place them. Using some E6000 glue, I'm sticking them in place. Now moving on to the final DIY, I started off by painting the walnut stained blocks using a red shade of chalk paint. Before the paint dried, I wiped it off with a lint-free cloth. This left behind a red stain on the blocks. Now I'm using a sandpaper to sand off the red color stain from the blocks. For this wood sign we need 12 blocks. We are going to make 4 sets of 3 blocks each. After doing all this, I was not very happy with this red color, so I decided to stain the blocks a black shade. So I'm using a black wood stain now and staining these blocks. Again, I'm using a cotton cloth, a lint-free cloth, and I'm just rubbing the stain on the blocks. Once the stain was soaked in by the wood, I used an 80 grit sandpaper to sand this down. So this is how the blocks look now. I'm going to use a brush and clean all the dust from the grooves. Now using a ruler, I'm just going to draw 2 diagonals. On this one, I decided to draw the design using some paint and brush. So I'm using a thin brush and drawing the arrows and writing it down just freehand. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. Bye. See you in the next video.